Welcome back to the From Harvey Love podcast. I am your host, Harvey World Drizzy. I'm back to you guys with another one. And we got a special one today. We got another installment of Birds Behaving Badly. I'm just kidding. Well, not really. But before we get into that, we got to get into top news. And top news this weekend, Top G got banned. And I will admit, I'm not as familiar with the Top G as many of you guys may be. From what I heard, he was maybe the most searched man in the world. I think 13 billion or something like that searches for this guy. But basically they call him a misogynist, and trust me, I've been watching some of the clips and I understand where they might get that sentiment. But it's not really about what he's saying. It's about his right to say it, to me, right? There are other content creators far more notorious than the Top G, than Mr. Andrew Tate, right? Creators like, for instance, Cynthia G. Now, I will not leave a link to the description to her page. If you want to search for that bullshit, that will be on your own accord. However, she has said some of the most salacious shit. One of which, to abort black babies. If you have black boys, to be more prevalent. So, it would be her advice that if you are pregnant with a black child and you find out that it is a boy, that you should abort it. That's some of the shit that she flat out just said. Now, she has hundreds of thousands of subscribers, at least 100,000 subscribers, right? She's able to spew this bullshit daily. I mean, I don't know how often she drops or uploads. I don't follow. I've just heard bullshit she said here and there and left it where I found it. So, but she has the right. She's able to say this. And the issue I have with this is I believe it's this concept of punching up and punching down. Just like, for instance, black people feel like they can't be racist. Not towards white people anyway, because they feel like, oh, I don't have any power, so my racism doesn't count. It counts. It absolutely counts. That's the same thing here, because women feel like they've been oppressed by men in the patriarchy. Because of these things, they feel like, it's okay to talk shit about us. Like, if a girl beats a boy's ass, that's cool. But if a boy beats a girl's ass, it's domestic violence. But in order to catch you guys up to speed who might not know who Andrew Tate is, like I said, I do not condone a lot of the shit he says. It's crazy. Now, in his defense, he's obviously being facetious in most of these clips. I feel like he's actually not the answer, but he's the response to the missing masculinity. He's overly masculine. He's basically, that's what he pushes, is this alpha big dog, and he has good reason to believe this. I believe he's like a 5-time world kickboxing champion, a multi-millionaire. I want to say upwards of $100 million. He has some accolades under his belt. He's in shape. The things that men were traditionally graded on, he's upper echelon. Happens to be an asshole as well. Many think I'm an asshole, so that's neither here nor there. But in order for you guys who don't know who he is, I want to, there's a brief clip of an interview from some channel that I found. It's like dedicated to this guy, which is hilarious because there are many channels dedicated to this guy. However, I don't believe he actually even has a channel. Well, I haven't found it. I'll search. I'll look for it later. But I haven't found an Andrew Tate channel. From what I see, he's usually on other people's channel now. There is no shortage of Andrew Tate interviews and clips because he's everywhere. But as far as his own, I don't see anything. So they banned him on Facebook and IG, which is pretty much just meta. They the same thing. He was banned on those. And I believe it's like a temporary type of thing, though, like pending an investigation. They want to know when to get down to who the hell Tate actually is. And if I understand it, They have a right and responsibility to the people, but it's all I'm saying is that it's far, far, far more notorious things they could be dealing with than to be dealing with Andrew Tate. Andrew Tate's just like, I get it. The boys are following him and da 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 da. But like I said, he's the answer. He's the response to our crisis of masculinity that we're having here, because men are afraid to say what the fuck they want to say, of fear of being canceled. And so, like, I don't too much care about being canceled, because you got to kind of be, you got to be on to be canceled. But even then, it's like, look, this is what it is. The goal, the end goal of what I want here is for people to be, for happier people, happier couples. I feel like it's an unnecessary war of the genders for no reason, because we're on the same team. Makes no sense. But without yapping too much longer, what we're gonna do is I'm gonna jump straight into this video. I'm gonna get this brought up here. And so this clip is actually from another notorious podcast, the Fresh and Fit podcast. And look, this is from Harvard with Love, and everything we do is with love. So my mama told me if I ain't got nothing nice to say, then don't say nothing. But when it comes to Fresh and Fit, what I will say is these guys take the business seriously. You can tell by their production, by their setup, by the amount of content these guys are working. These guys take this shit very seriously. It's not my business to talk on their business and how they conduct themselves or their interviews or their podcast. That's for them. I will leave a link for you guys to go like, comment, subscribe if you feel inclined to on their page. It's not something that I would necessarily do. But I understand that the guys are doing good work. Maybe in the courses of they'll find it's the vitriol from the woman, period, especially the Western woman that they have over there. I just can't get with it. But this clip comes from their podcast. So with the Fresh and Fit podcast, what you will know there will be is a bunch of bimbos, a bunch of dusties, birds, the usual. I'm not an avid watcher. I did watch a lot of their stuff when they first came out. And then it kind of got redundant to me. So I'm not I can't say, I haven't ever seen a woman that was worth her salt on the podcast being taken seriously, maybe once or twice. I mean, I think I'm just trying to give them something. But without further ado, we're going to get right into it.
Very different. When we say this, women get triggered because we're trying to you make it sound like we don't value you. No. We're absolutely and utterly different, and we both excel at completely different things. I think that the most unhappy women in the world are the women who act like men, and the most unhappy men in the world are the men who act like women. I think we should all embrace our natural biological evolutionary roles. I think we're very, very different. So when we talk about equal, we're talking about in a very physical, visceral sense, right? This is what we're talking about. We're talking about, okay, let me give you girls an example. I'll ask you all a question, and please be honest. Imagine, let me think of an example. Okay, you're getting on a plane, and this plane is going to fly through a hurricane, right? There's a 25% chance you're going to make it. 75% chance, get caught up in the hurricane, you crash into the sea, and you die. Do you want a male pilot or a female pilot?
Doesn't matter.
I want a female pilot.
I want
lies.
That's best.
All right, exactly. We'll go around the table. Male pilot or female pilot?
I want a female pilot.
Okay.
Without them even, before they even get into their answers, you already got the first one, I believe, said she want a female pilot. I joke all the time about women and their brains being on Wi-Fi. This shit right here is one of those things. It's when they're going to be I guessing. I haven't seen this entire clip, but guessing, right? It's gonna get around the table, and most of these girls, if not all of them, are going to say a woman pilot, just for shits and giggles, just fucking because they're gonna say that just because what girl power, fight the patriarchy. Just my guess.
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
The best one.
No.
It doesn't matter.
About the best.
You gotta choose one.
You're boarding the plane.
You gotta choose one.
What's going to make you feel most comfortable?
You gotta choose one.
A man or a chick? That's what I'm asking. That's all I'm asking.
So man or woman?
All things being the same.
If you had to choose.
I guess, man.
Okay.
I guess.
What about you?
Women.
Okay.
Pass.
On that question.
No comment.
Blonde hair.
Liv.
That's woman.
I guess.
The pass is basically, I don't want to say woman because that's not the truth. Because if it was woman, she'd just say woman. I think it's man, but I don't want to say that and be caught on camera going against the Wi-Fi. That's what that shit is. Like that pass was just, it's even worse than the one saying woman. At least they've made their mind up. Pick a side.
Woman.
Why are they lying to? They lying to themselves.
We're
not. We just think
You
different.
would feel more comfortable in a dangerous situation with a man in control than a woman in control.
But to remember,
women
like,
feel
you
more
would.
safe in a dangerous situation with men in control than women in control.
Facts.
That's a fact. When you call the police, if something bad happened to you, you'd want a man to turn up. You don't want no chicks turning up. I don't know why you're
We're
lying to
talking about
yourself.
a plane. We're not talking about a street fight.
But the point is, the point.
Precisely. We're not talking about a street fight. We're not. talking
That's
about robbery.
worse.
You're not talking about a street fight, but the science is, men typically have a faster reaction time. There's physical and mental abilities that we have that make us better. Not saying that there aren't women pilots. There aren't women pilots that are better than men pilots. These things exist. Like that. That's a fact. That happens. That. But typically, generally,
Let's talk about Legos for a second.
You're gonna
right?
No, it's
die.
not worse because for
Probably.
the plane you just need to be smart, and women
You
move
need to be smart and you need to be skilled.
and
It has
control
nothing to
and
do-
skilled, and it's not
Okay,
about
let me
your physical
reframe the question.
attributes.
Ladies,
Absolutely
one
wrong.
penis at a time, please.
I'll tell you why you're all absolutely wrong. I'll tell you why you're all absolutely
What
wrong.
if we tell you why
Okay.
you're absolutely
Tell
wrong?
us.
You'll
You
be
can try.
more than welcome to do it. Go ahead, give your point. Then, if he's wrong, you can go ahead and give
You
him
can try.
why he's wrong, Miss Blue.
Women are more emotional than men. Agreed?
Yes, we are.
In a dangerous situation that might invoke panic where death is near certain, do you agree that a woman would panic probably easier than a man?
No.
No.
The Wi-Fi.
Okay, well, you should all go to war because you're just lying.
There are
They're
women
lying.
who do.
They're lying. They're all lying.
I think that maybe you have had that experience, so understandably, you can speak from that.
No, I know it's not about me having that experience. I'm telling you now as a biological
science. Fucking talking about my own anecdotal experience. It's fucking science. It's just the facts of the fucking matter. It's the facts of anatomy. It's the facts of biology.
fact. Men do not panic as easily as women.
If we're talking about biological facts,
And I'm
the
telling
only
you now,
reason-
I'm telling you now, right? We're on a podcast. If I were to say think fast and throw something at Myron, you turn, catch it. If I say think fast and throw anything at you chicks, you're gonna go, oh, and get hit in the face.
Yeah.
Because
I
women
did
panic.
sports,
Women panic.
Sports.
It's been proven. Listen, this has been proven scientifically. Women have slower reactions than men. You're not evolved for combat. It's not a bad thing. You're evolved for something else. We have different
Physically.
roles. Physically, correct.
Physically.
So you have slower reactions. You panic easier. You can't handle
You're talking
pressure
about
the same.
Physically, though.
No,
Mentally, in
Let
a
him finish.
plane,
Hey,
we
ladies.
have to
Let him
think.
finish. Let him finish, and then you guys will absolutely have a chance
I'm telling
to
you,
rebut his claim. Let him finish, please. One mic at a time.
the
Go ahead.
pressure of the event is more likely to have a detrimental effect on the capability of a female than a male. Now, we all have evolutionary biological roles. There's nothing wrong with accepting that. I'll ask you another question because when I say this, you girls feel instinctual. You have to defend women. Let me give you another question. Let me ask you something because I'm trying to prove that men and women are slightly different. Would you leave your child in a daycare run exclusively by men?
Oh shit.
Or would you want women? Your little 2-year-old girl. Would you leave your 2-year-old girl with a bunch of big dudes in a daycare? Yes or no?
No.
No, you
women.
would not. Because you know that females have certain evolutionary biological roles,
Nurturing.
as do men.
As a man, I'm gonna tell you, I'm not dropping my baby girl off there. I'm gonna tell you, and that's it's double standards exist. Like, and it's beliefs like this is why even you be hard pressed to find a male teacher. Men are going out of these type of fields because of what the first thing they want to do to demean a man is call him some shit, right? And a man working with children starts sounding pedo real fast when females get mad or people typically get mad at you. Or I can see why guys don't want to deal with that. That's not something that you can come back from. Even an allegation of that type of shit in that field can ruin you. much less multiple, and they can be multiple lies. You're smoked. So it's a reason why men should, be very weary when making decisions to go into these career paths. And it's just like I said, it's just a double standard that sucks. But you're just not gonna feel it safe. You're not gonna feel it. You probably wouldn't even want to drop your son off, to be honest, at an all male establishment. It's just.
Men are evolved for combat. We think quicker in certain scenarios. Our reactions are faster than females. Let me give you an example. My dad was a chess grandmaster. I'm a professional chess player. You want to talk about how there's no biological advantage, no physical advantage. Why can the best women in the world not get anywhere near the men? They get smoked. There's no reason why. It's not about muscle. They simply cannot calculate fast enough. Women were not evolved for it. We're not being disrespectful, because you can do a bunch of shit that we can't do. What I'm saying is, if you're going to put me on a plane that's about to fly through a hurricane, I want a man, because a man will go down towards the ocean into certain death without screaming and letting go of the wheel. And most of you chicks can't even drive. So don't talk to me about flying planes. You can't even park cars. So that's the truth. Why you want a woman to fly the plane?
Yeah.
Okay, so here's the thing. I am not entirely disagreeing with you that men and women are different and have different strengths. I completely agree. And I think that because men, and so maybe, you know what? Maybe I can agree with you on that.
High five. Let's leave it there. Don't ruin it.
No.
Baby, you look smart now. Just leave it. Don't fuck it up, baby. Listen,
women.
One second, because Mars is in the high Taurus.
You're annoying.
Mars is in high Taurus, baby.
I am a Taurus.
You don't need to keep talking, baby. Mars is in high Taurus.
She must.
Men may have physically stronger attributes than women.
Yeah, maybe.
But we also give
It's not
birth.
a maybe. It's biological fact. It's not a maybe.
But we also give birth.
Of course.
And we carry a child.
I agree. I'm saying.
Y'all got to cut this shit out. That's not the only thing you do. We get it, ladies. We have children, and it be women that ain't had no kids. That's still willing to down that hill. Nobody's ever taken that from you. You birth children. We cannot. And you see how when it comes to our genetic shit, our scientific undercomings or whatever the fuck you want to call it, we accept it. A man would be an absolute moron, an asshole, and an idiot to fight a woman on her ability to conceive, to bring a child into this. That's the hardest, most beautiful thing you'll ever see in the human experience. Another person being born. We're not taking that from you. My only issue is that everything that the man does after that, void of that, the rest of this shit, we build brick by fucking brick just for the people we build it for to turn around and tell us they don't need us. We never needed you. It's asinine. It's the reason why you don't see female ditch diggers, bricklayers, operator engineers. You don't see this. You don't see these things not in mass. They exist. They're outliers. And the exceptions don't it's not the rule. Women can do just about every job because of technology and machinery and all of those things. They can pretty much do almost every job that a man can do, but they don't do it. They won't do it. You see what I'm saying? So it don't fucking matter to us that you can.
Done that for years and years.
You do amazing things. You do such
things.
amazing things. Females are such amazing creatures.
give
You
us
create
credit.
life.
I don't
You didn't
think
give
that
us
it's
credit.
fair. So this is where I was going with that, is that I don't think it's necessarily fair to hold one higher than the other just because your physical attributes
higher.
that you withhold within your body are different than ours. They're both amazing strengths. And because of that, all right, because of that, you guys maybe when it comes to, calculating shit, you might be able to do that faster than us. Emotionally and mentally, when it comes to processing our feelings, we may be able to do that faster than you.
We did.
Okay.
So what I'm saying is that you're not necessarily higher in ranks and we are not necessarily higher in ranks than you, but we are both equal in the sense that just as there is a yin, there is a yang.
Yeah.
And both are equally as important to coexist with one another. So you are no better than us and we're no better than you. But we both have strengths and we both have weaknesses and they are meant to balance each other out. So therefore, I do believe that we're equal.
All right.
Baby, listen,
Then
baby,
you're up next, and then you're up next.
baby.
Baby.
No, listen. Everything you just said is everything I was fucking saying. now, listen.
Yes, it is.
It's amazing how quickly I can get her to agree with everything I say. Isn't that beautiful? Isn't that beautiful?
Yes.
Now she's all like, yeah, Tate said it, and she's like loving it. Listen, that's exactly what I said. You girls are
They hear through their
completely.
feelings. That's not what it felt
Females
like
can do things men could never do. The fact that women can give life is literally a miracle. It's a beautiful thing.
Facts.
I'm not saying that the world can function without women. I'm not saying you're
Be an
valueless.
idiot.
In fact, I'm saying
I don't want to fucking be in a world without women. I don't want to live a life void of women. I couldn't understand. Like, so this is the problem that I'm having, and it's the problem that a lot of these men need to be. Shit, they have to be having as well. How are you gonna have this gender war when we need each other the way we need each other? Like the things are just, some things are just facts. You don't need no man. Sure. 2022, you don't, technically. But, as a heterosexual woman, you're telling me that if you had a competent, loving, capable, ambitious man in your life, supportive man in your life, that your life wouldn't be significantly better? None of these things were 6 feet. None of these things were 6 inches. None of these things were 6 figures. But if you had a man with those attributes in your life that chose you, that loved you, your life wouldn't be easier. Now, in order to get this type of man, you're going to have to earn him. As soon as you say earn, women, more specifically, black women, they bow out. Competition is, You're only religious. They're most convenient Christians I've ever met in my life. You switch it on and off. You sexually liberated 1 minute. You can have sex with whoever you want. You can wear whatever you want. You're wearing it for yourself. You're not wearing it for the attention of men. You're not a whore. You're just free. And then out the same mouth, you want to talk about what God has for me. It is for me. You're a whore, ma'am. That's akin to a rapper getting up on the Grammy stage and first thanking God, who's the head of his life. You think the Lord wanted you pimping hoes and killing niggas? People need to understand that the devil bless you too. And what you saying when you're living for the devil or for whoever, if you don't believe in the devil, whatever, when you live in foul, you're serving foul energy, foul person. That's what you serving. That's who bless you. The devil can bless you too.
that you're all so important that if you were to get on a plane about to fly through a hurricane and you tried to choose a chick, I'd have to slap you in the fucking mouth and say, know what you're doing, because you're going to die. You need a man. Men have evolved to protect females. You live in a world now where all this feminist crap is going to convince you that men are out here to oppress you. We're not out here to oppress you. We spent the largest majority of human time going to die in a field by ourselves to protect you while you sat at home. It's absolutely disrespectful to look at all the men who died in World War I, World War II, charging through fucking gunfire to protect their wives and children. That's why they did it.
But
You don't know.
didn't sit at
No,
home,
no,
they
I'm
raised
talking.
children.
I'm talking.
Don't cut them off.
I'm talking. This is what men do. We've evolutionarily, we're designed to protect you. That's why we have faster reactions. And that's why if you get rid of the feminist, fem-centric crap and actually be truthfully honest with yourself, if you were to go into any kind of dangerous scenario.
Feminist, man, that's a hate group. Hate to wrap them motherfuckers up with Antifa and then the Klan and all them other motherfuckers. That's a fucking hate group. They can outwardly hate men and be praised for it because it's punching up. Fuck men, we hate men. Men are morons. Men are idiots. Rah, 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 rah. They get all type of funding and all type of love, and they can just do this shit. They can laugh. They on The View say fucking hellacious, the most hellacious shit day in and day out. And if it has anything to do with a man, I believe it was one episode they were talking about chopping a man's penis off. The wife chopped his penis off in his sleep and threw it in the garbage disposal. It was a panel of women laughing. This is domestic violence where a man was dismembered. His penis was put in a garbage disposal. They laughed at the thought of his dick flopping around in the garbage disposal. It really tickled them. The crowd erupted. Of course, it's a crowd full of women. It's The View, but still, imagine shoe on the other foot. Man came home, and she did this not because he was beating her, but because he asked her for a divorce. Shoe on the other foot, man. He chop a lady part off or something. Imagine a group of men sitting on a panel and laughing at a girl's titty meat flopping around in the garbage disposal. Imagine how many seconds that show had before it went off air. They'd have pulled that motherfucker live. You kidding me? You just can't do that type of shit as a man. Not that I want to. Unlike women, I'm not fighting for my ability to be able to say the same bullshit that you get to say. I just want you to stop saying it. That's it. I don't want to join in. I don't want to be able to talk down on them. And that's why I say I don't agree with everything, with a lot of things, with most things that Andrew Tate says. But I will fight for his right to be able to say the shit just as long as you guys are able to say the shit that you say. As long as y'all can run around here, no scrubbing it and all this other shit and talking down on men. Matter of fact, I'm not going to even spend too much more time on this because I really, what I really want to get into is another video by another channel that I like. Yeah, the It's Complicated channel. So let me find that video because I think this video they were talking about, this is his latest video. They were talking about incels. And I think that that's lonely men.
Is it easier for a man or a woman to acquire sex?
It is much easier for a woman to acquire sex.
Why is that?
Because we choose. We choose whether or not we have the option of whether or not we're going to let a man have sex or not.
I don't think that that's necessarily true.
Don't women typically consent to sex?
Consent goes both ways.
Right. Well, let me ask you this.
God.
What's the longest that a man's ever made you wait for sex?
You know, it's happened. I don't know.
But does that typically happen?
Maybe. No, it doesn't typically happen.
Okay, so isn't it fair to say that women generally...
She's clearly, you see what I'm saying? This is the Wi-Fi shit I'm talking about. She's trying to argue just to argue because this is what's going on. You got a light and a camera in your face, and she hears this man asking her questions. In her mind is telling her that it's a gotcha in there somewhere, that this is some tyrannical man trying to make a fool of her. He's asking you a simple question. There's a simple answer that you actually know that you know it to be true, but you're gonna fight it to lean on the outlier because you don't want to expose this fucking deep weave fucking bullshit plan that they run against men. It's like you really gonna stay true to it no matter what. You will look like an idiot in front of hundreds of thousands of people in front of America in order to stick to the Wi-Fi, to the fucking code. And they talk about men. Talk about men.
They control access to sex more than men
If
do?
a woman wants sex, she can get it. If
That's
a man
what we're
wants
saying.
sex, doesn't mean that he can necessarily get it.
Okay, so is it safe to say that women typically control access to sex more than men do?
It's killing
Because
me.
it's easier for a
It's
woman to get
whooping
sex
her
than it is
ass.
for a man?
I don't like the phrasing that you're boxing
I
me
don't
into,
like-
but I would.
But I mean,
Boxing you
I
in.
mean, would you ever
I don't like the phrasing that you're boxing me into. These tyrannical men, boy, I
have a
tell
different
you.
way of explaining it? I mean, is that not generally true?
I think that
I mean, if it's easier for a woman to get sex and it's harder for a man to get sex, we can't conclude that women typically control access?
okay.
It's easier for a girl for sure.
Yeah. Guys are thirsty.
Since it's harder for men, should women be surprised that guys have lower standards for sex than women?
Men aren't thirsty, we're opportunists. Not thirsty, but like look at these two. Come on now. Come on now. Fellas. It's like, ladies, y'all got a gaydar, right? Y'all believe like y'all can tell. Even when he think he down low, y'all got this gaydar. Like, well, we have something similar. It's called hodar. You got the rage and blue hair feminist right here. The bluer the hair, the deeper the feminist. But I'm gonna tell you also, those same feminists, boy, the hate men, they do a lot of dicks.
Not really, because I mean, they just want to get it in, right?
Yeah, real quick. I don't know.
Don't women have the privilege of being more picky because they have more options?
I mean,
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't women
And see, girls like that, man, they got a certain look to them. Like they're a little musty and dusty, right? They got that look to them. And so like they're going to be far more traumatized than a lot of other women. And this is why, because men are going to see them and I'm telling you, the whole dar is going to be going it's going to be going crazy. And because it's going crazy, it's beating. They're going to get you don't give a game when the hodar is telling you what it is. You get a D- game, you know, it'll get you by. That's the WID tags. That I'm not trying to take you out. I'm trying to come chill, Netflix and chill, Hulu and chill, whatever the fuck. Something that's I'm gonna spend little to no money and get the cheeks. And so you so dumb that they've been some guys, you know, the upper echelon the guy, at least in her eye, because the upper echelon the guy in her eye could be a Pookie, because you know their infatuation with Pookie it'll never be understood. It's unfathomable. So it could be a Pookie, but that echelon guy is gonna get it easy every single time, and then she's gonna act like she was tricked because she's a moron and she's loose.
women have the privilege of being more picky because they have more options?
Yes.
Have you ever
Tattoo on the titties. You know you that can't be real. That's a Silk Sonic. That can't be real.
ever heard of an incel?
No.
An incel?
Yeah.
No, I haven't.
Involuntary
Have you ever heard
celibate.
of an incel?
No.
Okay, incel stands for involuntarily celibate, and it refers to a person who can't get any sex. Who is more likely to be involuntarily celibate, men or women?
Men.
Men. I think it's 1 in 3 men are not having sex right now.
In today's society, if a man goes up to a woman and asks her for her number or Snapchat, he's looked at as like a creep and a pervert. But if a woman goes up to a man, it's 100% okay, which is not okay to me.
Why are men shamed for not being able to get sex, but also shamed for trying to get sex?
That's a good question. I think it's the way they go about trying to get sex, because women want relationships. Well, I can't say all women, but a good amount of women want relationships, and when you meet the men that just want sex, it kind of tarnishes everything.
Is it fair to shame men for being incels when women are the ones who control access to sex?
I don't think you should shame anybody for anything.
Is it fair to shame men for being incels when women are the ones who control access?
I disagree with that last point. I don't think we should shame anybody for anything. I absolutely believe we need to bring shaming back. We remember back in the day they used to shame the hoes. I remember when the hoes couldn't even come in church, boy. You came in church after you did some hoe shit. You was shacking up with that man. You got caught doing something. You know what I'm saying? Hey, you need to bring it back. These hoes too proud. Shame them. Shame them. Same thing with Pookie and them. Pookie need to be shamed. God damn it. They need to be wagging their finger at that motherfucker like they used to back in the day. Pull your pants up, young man. We need to get back on that. We need it back. We need it back. Back when they were shaming their ass, black men was wearing suits and shit. Bring shaming back. I'm with it.
Just to sex.
No, not at all.
Isn't that victim shaming?
Yes, 100%.
Isn't every man who's been rejected temporarily an incel?
Yes.
Is it fair to portray incels as lazy, immature losers because they don't conform to women's standards and selectivity?
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No.
Fucking incel.
No.
If a man can't get sex, he might be made fun of and called names just for that. And then, well, also I think if a man does get a lot of sex, it might be like everyone praises him also for getting a lot of sex. So I don't really think that there's a whole lot of men out there that are getting shamed for having a lot of sex.
Is it fair to portray incels as lazy, immature?
Men don't get shamed for having sex because let's keep it for real. Okay, so other men, we rate each other by the ability to get women. Like the easier that you are able to get women, the higher you rank. Because we know that in order for you to get a woman, that means that she had to choose you. And usually to be chose, you have to have something. Sometimes it's just an edge, quote unquote, one of those intangible things that Pookie usually possesses. Why he keep them girls in a chokehold like he do. It's because Pookie is usually slanging grade A penis and he has some type of charisma, and the edge comes from the fact that he dirty and got a gun. He a little musty and he got a gun. Because of that, she thinks that he is a tough guy, and that shows that he don't care about anything and that he would protect, and those things are intriguing. They're intriguing. And so unless you got a little bit of that edge, a little Pookie in you, like that's what draw him in. That's what draw him in, man.
Mature losers because they don't conform to women's standards and selectivity.
Negative. No. Everybody is built different and has their own standards in life.
If a man does conform, does that make him a simp?
Negative.
No.
Why is it more acceptable to shame men for having low standards versus shaming women for having unrealistic high standards?
And look,
That is right.
your standards is high, ma'am.
Speechless on that one.
Oh yeah, you kind of got me flabbergasted on that one.
Right, you're
Flabbergasted. Them teeth.
Survival of the fittest. Whoever seems like they're about to get it in gets it in, and they continue their genes and whatnot. But besides that, like, I don't know.
So would you say,
musty.
based on that women ultimately control the evolution of society?
Yes.
Based on the men that they choose?
Yes, it's because it's like the mating rituals. Like they say yes or no in most breeds.
So then
like
how are we
species.
living in a patriarchy where men have all the power?
Just because that's how society was set up when women were supposed to stay home and take care of the kids, and the guys went out and did all that shit, and we're supposed to rely on them.
What is the longest you've gone without having sex?
A year?
What is the longest by choice you've gone without having sex?
A year?
Probably like 18 years.
What is the longest by choice you've gone without having sex?
Probably like a month.
Who's more likely to lie about how long they've gone without sex, men or women?
Women.
Don't men lie about getting more and women lie about getting less?
No. Yeah.
Don't men lie about getting more and women lie about getting less?
Yes.
Why?
Because we're seen as being tarnished for the more sex that we have.
Why are women who sleep around seen as sluts while men who sleep around are seen as studs?
Because men don't want to see that their woman that they have prospect to be interested in has been with every man.
Could it be because it's easier for a woman to be a slut?
No.
Well,
It's exactly because it's easy for you to be a slut. You don't get no fucking kudos for going and give away. Look, pussy's the one thing that needs no type of it don't need any marketing. You ain't got to put no sign, no packaging on it. It sells. You walk into a bar, you walk into any establishment. You can fucking walk into a police department and probably bat close to 1,000 on men that would sleep with you in that building. Shit, maybe even some of the women. It's the thing, especially today's woman. 2022 women, I don't even know. I ain't heard Strictly Dickly in a long time. I'm going to just say that. You don't get kudos. It's we don't care. The fact that you're easy makes you undesirable. Makes you undesirable. It was one thing that Andrew Tate said that I did agree with. And he was basically saying that everything men do is for status. I don't necessarily believe in that part, but bear with me. So everything they do is for status. He said you drive a fast car, not because you're a fucking race car driver, but because you want to have the fast car. It's the fact that I have the car and you don't. The car is priced so high that only a rare few is going to be able to afford that car. That's what gives it its value. I can go on YouTube and with modern day makeup filters and all the other bullshit and surgeries that we got going on, there is a litany of 10s. Everybody can be a 10 as long as they can paint their face or go down to Colombia and get a stomach ass. Everybody can be beautiful. And so with the new emergence of all of this faux beauty, right? A beautiful girl isn't necessarily rare. A beautiful girl that is compliant, that is cooperative is a better word. That's rare because all of the women want to be bad bitches, and that's just that, a bad bitch, bad misbehaving bitches. That's what they want to be. They want to look good and be bad. Do what they want to do, talk out of turn, be loud, be unruly, be promiscuous, have all of the sex that they want, and that's fine. But then don't turn around and worry about how men see you. Stand on it. If you a hoe, stand on it, lady. If you gonna be a city girl, be a city girl. You gonna be a hot girl, be a hot girl. But stand on it. I don't ever want to hear your hoe ass crying about how men look at you when you selling cat, when that's what you out here doing. You out here sexually liberated. Stay sexually liberated. Understand that sexually liberated is code. It's a synonymous with being a hoe. You just out here doing what you want to do. And why is what you want to do all them dicks? Ma'am, get it together.
Well, don't women control access to sex?
They do, but there are many male sluts. They're just being praised for being that way.
But isn't it harder for a man to be a male slut than it is for a woman to be a female slut?
Depends on the man.
Wouldn't you say that the high value men with lots of options are rare?
Yeah.
So then wouldn't you say that it's more likely for your average woman to be a female slut than your average man?
Yes.
Women sleep with who they want, men sleep with who they can.
Facts.
What's the difference between shaming a woman for being a slut and shaming a man for being an incel? In other words, why are women shamed for having too much sex while men are shamed for not getting any sex?
Well, women can't have sex without being attached in some way. It's just in our innate.
What do you mean they can't have sex?
Not that they can't have sex. They can't have sex without having some type of emotional attachment.
Why do you think men are more likely to be able to have sex without feelings than women?
Biology.
Because you guys are made to procreate.
The name is involuntarily celibate, so the man is not choosing.
Yeah, he doesn't have a choice for that one.
Her
But
teeth
us females,
killing
we
me,
definitely have a
Jack.
choice to be a slut or not.
Well, because women control access to sex.
I control whether you take my clothes off or not.
We do.
Don't women
keep
have a
'em on with
choice
them
to be a
teeth.
slut, but a man doesn't have a choice to be an incel?
Yeah.
So then why would it be worse to call a woman a slut than it is to call a
Men are always shamed for shit they can't change, though. That's another one of the double standards. The same way a woman can be big as all outdoors, big Shirley, fat as hell, 400 to 600 pounds. Them 600-pound lifers always have a man, if you notice. You ever watch one of them episodes? You never see them. Typically, they're not single. and that's just the issue. But a man, boy, you got even a 5-inch dick. Like, we not even talking about a micro penis. If you got 5 inches or 4 to 5 inches in your pants, guess what? It's average, but especially if you black, That motherfucker smart. They don't want to hear it, and nobody is gonna have any body positivity for you and your little wiener. It just sucks to be a man. It ain't nothing you can do. Now I heard Dr. Miami is letting y'all stick y'all stomachs in y'all pecker now. So shit, y'all might want to start boarding y'all flights and going down there and getting it like the women. I mean, we fucking feminine enough now anyway. You let them suck all of the masculinity out of it. We want to do everything the women do. I seen Bandman Kevo got a HBL. I never thought I'd see the day that men. I remember back in the day, it was a rumor. I'm not even sure if it was true that The Rock had got pec and calf implants because they wasn't growing right in his workout. And I remember thinking like that was the most disgusting shit I had ever heard in my life. And because I liked The Rock so much, even though Stone Cold was my guy, the only time I probably rooted for a white guy to beat a black guy. Even though I was so entrenched in the wrestling life that I didn't want to believe that The Rock would do such a thing. But the world we live in today is Bandman Kevo was explaining it away. The DJ Academic, how his HBL wasn't that big a deal. All of the other reasons. I'm not the only one that did. That's nothing. I'm sick of hearing it. Every time you get caught doing something, stop, go down with the ship. Shut up. Stop telling her they did it too. That shit is unbecoming.
Man an incel.
I don't know why it would be worse.
But our society labels it as worse.
They label being an incel worse than being a slut?
Well, in other words, a lot of women resent being called a slut when they have a choice to be a slut, but it's okay for men to be called incels when men don't have a choice to be an incel because men don't control access to sex.
I think men don't have the choice on what they're doing, but nowadays with social media going the way it is, women have actually embraced slut. And that's the problem.
I'm glad you said it was the problem, boy. You had me on the edge of my seat. I was finna cook you, Bruno Mars. See, that is the problem. The problem that y'all went the wrong way. Y'all went the wrong way. And to be honest, like, I'm really fucking the game up trying to stop you. But like, what women don't understand is that us not wanting you to, we not wanting to be sluts. We don't want you guys to be sluts. It doesn't help us. Think about what y'all say. Y'all say all men are doing and we're out here after sex and sex alone. If that's what we out here after, why would we trying to stop you from giving us frivolous sex? Why would we be trying to speak up against you giving out frivolous sex? If all we really wanted was sex, then what a time to be alive. There has never been a time in human history, at least in American history, where, I mean, look at these girls' body counts. I was watching a YouTube channel, YouTube earlier. MTR, Mediocre Tutorials and Views, was doing a review of a video of a guy was giving the stats. Like 80% of the when you are the first, second, or third partner with your significant other and you get married, it was lasting like 80%. And then as the number goes up, the number of divorces go up. The percentage of the divorces go up like astronomically. It basically is like statistically telling you that if she is a hoe, she got these, and let me tell you, the magic number ain't these number that you females have these days. You sexually liberated 30 bitches that we got now. That is not, you got 30 bodies at 30 years old. That's not it. That statistic said over 10. Over 10, and you might as well just kiss it goodbye. But we would have to wrap up women if we was worried about 10 bodies or less. At this point right now, the average woman my age had been past 10. She was past 10. She was past 10 a decade at least ago. At least it was at least a decade back when she was when that thing was that was that. That's over. That's over because now you sexually liberated and you got Tinder and you think you can. Y'all out here sneak dicking. Y'all think we don't know that when you go swipe right on this motherfucker and he pull up in 30 minutes or less and he stick dick all in and you go about your way and you never call him again and you don't count him. You don't count him. You're not counting that dude that you've been fucking through 6 relationships either. That friend, that brother, or whatever the fuck. Y'all don't count these guys. Like, and that's why your body count is always bullshit. It's always 3, and you never had sex. You ain't had sex in 3 months. Every single time to every single dude. That's why it's a wasted question. I don't even think people ask it no more. Like a lot of times, I'm gonna be honest, I don't think guys at this point in life even want their heart broke that way. Like, I don't even know if I want, if you would be ready to hear the number, bucko. She a real good girl. You love her. And she tell you, I got 54 bodies. Oh. His heart. His chest. Oh, my God.
Do you think women today are more interested in relationships or hookups?
Money. Neither. Money. Money's what
I would say more hookups today.
Facts.
Why?
Because they get paid right after.
Because they have all these rappers, saying, influencing them, like trying to, basically they're trying to play the role as men, they're trying to play us out of our money, and it's bullshit.
Me personally, I'm more interested in relationships. Women nowadays, I think, are more.
Hey, Chad sound like he was a little greased that women is using his playbook on him. Now, that's another thing that I will say. The game is cold, but it's fair. So, like, for you players that's out here and y'all living and dying by y'all dick, getting as much pussy as you can get, when you run into one of these women and they dog you out and they get everything from you, they take your money and they don't really, you know what I'm saying, they waste your time. It's like gambling, man. It's like you got to pay to play. And that's the cost of doing business. You gonna get finessed, especially in today's world. You gonna get finessed. You gonna get finessed. Typically, I mean, if you don't, you're a lucky man. You're a lucky individual.
Worried about their careers and hookups.
So if women are more interested in hookups, how can a man let a woman know he just wants to hook up without making her feel like a slut?
There isn't a way, no matter what.
So aren't we kind of damned
statement.
if we do, damned if we don't?
Yes,
Big
you
facts.
are.
Sucks to be
Would
us.
you rather have the best sex you've ever had or the best food you've ever eaten?
Best food you ever eaten.
Yeah, food for sure.
Best food I've ever eaten.
I'm a foodie. I like.
Would you rather eat?
You're a foodie, huh? And you be eating something fucking rocks. Jesus Christ, them teeth.
All the junk food you want without gaining weight, or have unlimited sex without being slut shamed?
Unlimited sex without being slut shamed.
Who are the bigger slut shamers, men or women?
Women.
Why are there men who shame women for being sluts when men also complain about how hard it is to get laid? Are those the same men?
Obviously not.
No. I think the men that are calling women sluts are looking for a woman that aren't sluts.
If a woman's body count doesn't matter, why is it typically the first thing women bring up to shame another woman they are jealous of? In other words, why would a woman ever slut shame another woman?
Because they know deep down body count does matter.
Is it really that
Is
deep
the main
down?
reason women don't want to?
Is it that deep down for y'all though? Like, yeah, I get it. There are outliers to this. There are women with high body counts, and they hold their value after those bodies for how they hold themselves, how they carry themselves. Like, for instance, like a Lori Harvey. Who knows? That body count is probably through the roof. But at the same time, she has a look. She carries herself with a certain elegance. She's feminine. She's going to trick somebody else. Somebody else will get tricked. Now, Brittany Renner, probably not. I mean, maybe a rapper because she's in those pools, and rappers are stupid. Athletes sometimes they not our best and brightest. So it's hit or miss there. But good men that's worth they weight that did actually work beside rhyming words and shooting basketballs. Nothing against those guys. That's talent. I don't know what I'd do without my hip hop or my basketball. I'm an avid fan of both. However, they not all LeBron. They not all that cerebral.
To be easy is because they don't want to be shamed, or could it be that they don't want to relinquish their sexual power over men?
I don't think either one of those. I think the reason why women don't want to be easy is because we don't want to have a body count, because we want to find somebody that wants us for who we are, and the guys that we're looking for don't.
Cap, you sexually liberated. The whole point of the sexual liberation is so that you can go out and wear what you want and act and do what you want. And what you want to do, from what we all see, is you want to dress and act promiscuous. You want to have sex and be able to do whatever you want with no accountability, no repercussions. You want to be able to go out on Saturday evening into the morning twerking. You know what I'm saying? And then you want to go home and not even wash your ass. Probably stumble into church with the same shit you had on last night in the club and play with God. You the most confusing batch of women in the history of women. Confusing. And then the other ones, y'all no longer religious because there is some discipline involved with being religious. And so now you're spiritual. And you sticking rocks in your coochie and shit and trying to protect your aura.
Don't want a woman with high body count.
Why is it okay for women to feel entitled to be protected and provided for, but it's wrong for men to feel entitled to sex and intimacy?
I think after being provided for so long, and once you're comfortable in the relationship, that men are going to expect for you to be intimate with them at a certain point.
Are women doing men a favor by giving them sex?
Yes.
Yeah, I guess.
for a moment.
If a woman rewards a man with sex, why is there still pressure on him to perform and satisfy her?
That's a bogus
I feel like men can be selfish.
But girls will not come back if they're not like doing well. Yeah.
Cap and cap. Cap on those are selfish. Some those are selfish. That's cap. And then girls won't come back if he doesn't perform. Bullshit. Most women, I know a lot of that'll say that out of all the sex they had, and it's been a lot of it, they've never even had an orgasm. I'm talking about women with children, which by definition means that you went back over and over and over again for a guy that was not performing. So that's cap. And we're not even going to get into why that's cap, because the men are selfish. Take it back. That's a fact. Look at her again, though. Think about the type of men that's approaching her that want that. Look what she's selling. That want that. Think about the men. Her and Lil Musty right here. They not getting our best and brightest. They not getting Russell Wilson. That's not the energy that you attract. You got blue and purple hair. You not attracting those guys. You're not attracting Wall Street brokers and no, you attract the riffraff. Pookies and Ray Rays, Hectors and Vectors, whatever the fuck. Them who you.
Well, why should a man have to earn the opportunity to please you sexually?
Because women get to decide everything in other species, so why not human species?
Okay.
Stupidest argument ever. Because we have a brain. Because we are the most intelligent creature on the planet. Because you're not a dog, you shouldn't do dog things. Like, sometimes it's okay to say you don't know. Or even maybe to pass on a question.
Okay, but then if that's true, then why do we complain about being in a male-dominated patriarchy where men control women?
Jesus.
Because it's the hunter and gatherer type of discussion. Because we had to stay at home and wait for the men to come and hunt and bring that shit back to us for us to like cook and shit. So that's where it started.
Are there female incels?
I think so, maybe.
Would it be fair for society to shame a lonely old cat lady for being involuntarily celibate?
No.
How likely are men to have sex with a lonely woman out of pity?
Very.
I guess it depends on who you ask. I'd say pretty likely.
How likely are women to have sex with lonely men out of pity?
Oh, unlikely. They just want men that are rich and famous.
How likely are women to have sex with lonely men out of pity?
Not so likely.
Why is that?
Because a woman wants a man that looks strong and feels strong, and she feels like she's going to be protected, and that's what they look for. So if you look like you're the weak one cowering in the corner, she's probably not going to go up to you.
Men think that there are these issues. Like, if you were more confident, or if you just like put yourself out there more, you just like
out there more?
Whatever, just do it. I guarantee you, it doesn't matter what the woman's standards are. That's what they're attracted to.
Let me ask you this. So if you woke up tomorrow and you were a guy and you wanted to get laid like most guys do, how would you do it?
I'd go to a bar, find my pretty girl sitting at the bar, sit down, and I'd ask them if I could buy them a drink. Literally. That's all you have to do.
Literally, that's all you have to do. I mean, this is okay. So look at the quality of the bird. This is an old tyrannical bird here, man. This is a prehistoric methamphetamine induced bird here. Like this one right here is like everything about it don't even matter. It's disqualified. However, that's if it's even up. Never mind. This bird right here. She obviously wouldn't. She put earrings through her. Meth is a hell of a drug. Meth is a hell of a drug. But she really believes, and this is the problem with a lot of women. They believe if you ask them a similar question about what they would do as a man, they say some simple shit like this. Like, man, they think life is just as easy for us. They think you could just wake up as a man and go get you some ass because you're just but we're the stupid ones. But you think that any man can just wake up in the morning and decide, oh, I'm going to go to the club and buy a drink and get me some pussy. That's what they believe is really going on. And that might be true for a lot of these, for the Chads and the Tyrones and the Pookies and the Ray Rays that you can see at a bar or club every single weekend, weekday, week in, week out. So for these guys, they probably have a high kill rate, not because they're necessarily the greatest, but because they play a numbers game. I'm shooting 100 shots a day. Out of 100 shots, if I hit one of those motherfuckers, guess what? That's a win a day. They will take those numbers. They'll take those numbers. They're not necessarily our best, but they're going to keep shooting. They're going to be persistent because in sales, they say like most sales are made after the 8th or 9th no. The 8th or 9th no. And so these men are out there getting to that 8th and 9th no. It's just the facts of the matter. The ones that's really getting ass like that. And then the other guys, they come from status where the ass come to them, like a guy, or Chris Brown, which we don't like to use entertainers, but that's what y'all know him, right? If Chris Brown reach out to your bitch, you in trouble. You in trouble for most men. I mean, like married women and with morals, because there's married women that's gonna go. They don't get no damn about it. You know what I'm saying? But for the most part, you in trouble, bucko. Because his clout is so far, like old ladies will get down. Married old ladies will go because that's clout is intoxicating. And it got our women, the black women, in a chokehold. Got them in a chokehold. Sad.
Make yourself there. Present yourself. Be confident.
And those men present themselves and get their little pole hearts torn out they fucking chest. You know what? I don't even, like I said, that the only maybe criticism I have of this channel, because the questions are always really good, is the quality of the people that are being interviewed. I rarely, but I also do like that the fact that it's real people. So that's another thing. It's real people. And something that I'm gonna say now that's not probably popular opinion, but it's just a fact. Most people aren't smart. Yeah, I know it. I know it. I hate to break it to you, but the vast majority of the population is not intelligent. I mean, you are an intelligent being because of the way your brain works, barring any mental instabilities. But as far as like intellect, like high level critical thinking, intelligence, it's not a lot of them. And so when you do see this shit and you see them on the strip and they saying a whole bunch of dumb shit, just understand that this is your peers for the most part, because for the most part, people aren't smart. It's just a regular fact of life. But I'm gonna stop it right there. I'll leave a link in the description for you guys to go see the video in its entirety. But let's see if we can find anything to learn from these. As far as Andrew Tate goes, man, like I said, I'm not this great Andrew Tate fan. I don't follow him on anything. But from the hot takes that I've seen, the clips that I've seen, he's not saying anything too brand new. Now, he's very abrasive in what he says, but that's what he uses that to sell. That's the purpose. But like I said, I defend his right to say whatever, as long it's not hurting anybody what he's saying. Like, first of all, like now people have this new, everybody wants to be a victim so bad. And I feel attacked, and the things that he's saying incites violence, and he's raising these boys to be violent towards women, and but women can actively finesse, which is taking advantage, defrauding a man. It's rewarded, it's celebrated. And so the same way you mad that men get to celebrate their whores, and they get to be celebrated as whores. And I don't get to go be a whore and be celebrated. But you get to go be a whore. They used to stone y'all asses for that shit. Burn you at the stake. We've come a long way. You get to be a whore. You just don't get to tell me how to feel about it, man. You go out and have all the sex you want. Drake will never stop you. I will never stop you. I will fight for your right to be able to do it. Happy for you in that way, if that's what you want to do. But what I am saying is that the proof is in the numbers and the statistics and what's going on. And you guys aren't happy this way now. Happy is a fleeting feeling, and your life shouldn't be based on happiness. But you should get you a little bit more of that in your life if you can, especially in a time where they saying depression is running rampant. Everybody feels depressed. Everybody is then self-diagnosed themselves with depression. And then there's the fact that we really are depressed. A lot of us really are more depressed. Social media and all these other new social these social pressures put on both genders. It's a lot. And so you should take care of your mental. Take it seriously. Women, y'all should continue to vet these guys better. The reason that it seems like the accountability is on you is because the initial move, every man is going to try to have some sex with you. They're going to try to get sex, and some men are going to lie. It's just the fact of the matter. Some men are going to tell you falsities in order to get in your pants. That's not new. Know that that's coming. Stop pretending like, oh, he tricked me. I never saw it coming. Ma'am, ran a power eye right up the middle. He telegraphed it. He came out in that formation. There are no trick plays. Y'all not getting razzle dazzle. These ain't flea flickers and no, it's none of that. It's none of that going on. Like, you're losing to regular bums telling regular lies. This isn't new information. And so, yeah, Tate is a bit misogynistic. And I take that back. 'Cause I'm not. We need to stop throwing those type of words around, because if you listen to, well, at least in that clip that we watched, he did not say, he said we were different. He never said men were better. He went out of his way to make sure that was the point that he made, that neither is better. They even used my yin yang symbolism. It's the perfect symbol of our relationship with women. We're needed. You're needed. This notion that black men don't love black women and we don't want to be with y'all and that we can't lead you is false. We're capable, just as capable as any other race of woman's counterpart. We are just as capable. I understand the complexities of our relationships because of our past, our troubled past. But we got to get out of that. Stop using excuses to disrespect each other. Stop using excuses to have no discipline. A better world is going to come with discipline from all of us. Men, we're going to have discipline. Women, y'all going to have patience, one, in the vetting process. every man that meets you don't deserve you. They don't deserve your time, your energy, much less sex. So you have to take your time. Traditions were in place for a reason. Go back to some of those old traditions. I'm not saying 90-day rule and all of the bullshit. Go back to, for real, what are we doing? For real, what are we doing? But I ain't going to keep rambling too much longer. I'm going to go ahead and let you guys get out of here. Like, comment, subscribe. I'm going to leave a link to both videos in the description below so you can go watch them, check them out in their entirety. And until next time, man, I'll see you guys.
Just me, my lady, I don't need no guys. Just me, my lady, I don't need no guys. Ham squad. Just me, my lady, I don't need no guys. Headed to the top, I don't need no ride. I'm so fly, how fly is he? I can stop now, let the beat just ride. Niggas like, might as well join them. Nothing we can do to defeat those guys. Us to the world like Bonnie and Clyde. She was there when niggas wouldn't loan me a dime. She was there when I was feeling lonely inside. Niggas not real cause it's all in disguise. I can feel the hate cause it's all in your vibe. Diamond in the rough, yeah, start on the rise. Big confidence, that's all on my stride. Money, 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 that's all on my mind. Yeah, see, it's just me and my yo lady. Born all in the 90s, but our soul came from the 80s. I know she'll get on your ass if you ever tried to play me. Got her back, she got my front, that's how it been round this bitch lately. Bro, nigga don't wanna hang with you. On gelato, I mix it with dankaroo. Baby twerking and grabbing her ankles too. Demon throat, but she's sweeter than angel food. Every week at the knee like an ankle boot. Kool-Aid black, far from a lazy dude. Round his business and all about his paper too. Picture me taking off for a day or two. I heard black love was a beautiful thing. From a boy to a man, I became a king.